Let me tell you this, let me tell you right now, your exquisite kiss, still burning, didn't know I missed this passion in life. Now I'm addicted somehow. Let me tell you what is up with your smile? It's impossible, not melting, irresistible. When I look through your eyes, not even sky's the limit. I used to be satisfied, stayed over the surface. Now I just can't get enough. You make me feel good like no other. I just want everyone to see what I've discovered. And when I'm with you, I go higher. You lift me up, now I can see so much farther. You're on the horizon. You're on the horizon. I'm a butterfly who has only begun, taking me a while to get it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. Today I am finally getting to organizing and tackling this disaster of my kids' toys. They have far too many toys. I know they have a lot of toys and I don't have a lot of space to store them, so I have a plan in place. So really this is just a part one. There will be a second video next week where I tackle my son James's room, where we have the remainder of the toys and where a lot of the stuff is actually getting moved. So I am going to get in here, literally dump everything out, sort through them because things just get put away, and I like to have a drawer for each kind of toy. And then I am going to put everything away, give everything a good dusting, a vacuuming, and clean this rug that desperately needed to get cleaned. It had stains, food, the works. You know how it is when you have two small kids, and I have a white rug. I don't know what I was thinking, that the gray would kind of help hide things, but it doesn't. You see everything. So I started off with dumping out the toy buckets and just kind of going in and putting the things that belong in the playroom upstairs to the side so I can put them in a separate bag to bring them upstairs to be organized later. And then I continued on that process with the rest of the buckets and sorted out things that we were willing to part with as well, which was great.
Up now I can see so much farther. You're on the horizon. You're on the horizon.
So while I was going through all the toys, I was kind of forming a process of how I wanted to store everything. As you see, I have a lot of toys. I have spaces to put them, but it does get a little cluttered and crowded, especially after birthdays and holidays and grandparents wanting to spoil them. It gets to be a lot. It gets to be a lot, and I've kind of put the hold on them being able to get new toys because they have so much and they're very age appropriate toys. They're not even things that we can cycle out for them to be done using. They use a majority of the things that they have, not every day, of course, but they use a lot of what they have. So I try and keep them accessible to them, and we spend a lot of time downstairs, which is why we have the majority of the toys in our living room, but we also have a play space upstairs. So while I was going through this, I decided that James has his Legos in our living room, and if you're new, I have two boys. James is 4 and Jacob will be 2 in just a few days, and I have things that are not age appropriate for Jacob to play with, being that he's not even 2. He can't play with little Legos. He has his Duplo Legos that I do keep accessible, and he plays with them every now and then. But the smaller ones, I tend to keep away from him, and I don't let James play with them while the baby is around. So I decided I was going to bring them up to James's room, which you will see next week. I am going in and organizing his room and organizing his Legos and baby proofing so his brother cannot access his Legos, only he can. And I think that it will work. And I feel that it made a huge difference in my living room. It made it feel almost empty when I moved all the Legos out of there. Just when I organized everything, it made it feel so much more empty. And there's still a lot of toys, but it's just more appetizing to the eye, I'll say. When I walk into my living room, I'm not immediately overwhelmed with the amount of toys that my kids have. And that's not something that I feel often, because once they get in there and they start pulling things out and just throwing things away, it gets overwhelming. But I feel with the way that I organized it, it'll be a little easier to maintain than what I had.
You got me feeling kinda crazy. You got me feeling like my head is spinning round. The way you look is so amazing, amazing. I could stare into your eyes for hours and hours. Everything is kinda hazy. We're just dancing in the dark in the flashing lights. I know you can't hear what I'm saying, so I'm just gonna hold you closer. You take me higher when we're together. It feels like you set my whole world on fire. I know I want you, I know I need you here. You're Robin, I want tonight. You know you make me feel so alive. I wanna stay with you, never say goodbye. It's like we're in paradise, like we're in paradise. You're Robin, I want tonight. You know you make me feel so alive. I wanna stay with you, never.
Looking at this, it kind of reminds me of when I was doing this. My son would come and grab just certain things he would see, and he'd be like, oh, I forgot I had this. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the price we pay for having so many toys. You forget you have things. But I have just one of these drawers for just his fidget toys. He loves these, I think they're called mochis. They're like little squishy animal looking things, and he loves to throw them up to the ceiling and let them stick there, and then I end up having to like jump up to pull them down off the ceiling, or get something to grab them down. But he absolutely loves those things. The pop it button things, I don't know, we have like 5 of them, and he loves them, and they both play with them, they both love them. And it's just so funny going through and seeing how many we really had. I didn't know that we had that many, but when we go to birthday parties, they put them in the goodie bags. They get like pop-it bracelets or little animal shaped poppets and stuff like that. So we collect them, and I'm an offender. I give them away in goodie bags too at birthday parties because the kids enjoy them, and they're cute and easy, and they don't take up that much space, so I'm okay with it. But he kept walking in and noticing things and wanting it, and he kept going like all around trying to find things, and then he would throw them up in the air, so you'll see things flying around me. And it was funny. He was questioning why I was getting rid of some of the stuff I was getting rid of, but I actually found broken things in the drawer, which I was surprised they even made it back in the drawer, but it must have been when they're playing and they just break things. And then there's also like toys from like the occasional fast food that they eat that we were more than okay with getting rid of.
We can pretend that we're just friends, yeah. But who are we kidding? We can pretend that we feel nothing. But if you're game, I am willing.
This was most definitely my oh no moment in doing this. I did not know how much stuff was sitting in this corner. I found unopened Christmas presents that I had put there and completely forgot about. I had hats galore. Every single hat James owned was in this bucket. And I have a plan to hang these on command hooks in his room where he can easily access whatever hat he needs, but they are not laying around anywhere. They're not taking up space in a basket, and it's a little bit more organized and tidy. But you're going to see it when I move this basket, and it was full of food, by the way, which was not surprising. It's just, look at that. The corner is so full. There was like little foam balls for a little Nerf gun thing he has, magnetics that they do use, and so many things. It was just insane. Build-A-Bear clothes. It was nuts. And the dust actually wasn't that bad, and probably because there was so much stuff sitting on top of the floor, it was pretty clean. But I went in and sprayed it down with my Mr. Clean Clean Freak, and then used a damp towel to wipe it up and get the baseboards in the bottom of that bookshelf. And then I started reorganizing, and I was pretty happy with how it came out. I was really able to declutter a ton of stuff from that corner, which felt really good. You can really see here why I called it my oh no moment. That was just everything from the basket and what around it. I didn't even get behind the gate because yes, there were some things behind the gate. And I cannot believe how many toys they have. I know there are things that I plan to post to Facebook Market to get rid of that are some of the larger toys that they do not play with anymore, but they live in my loft space / James's room. So I am going to take care of that when I take care of his space. But there are large items that I do need to get out of my house. And then I feel like we will be in a better spot. It won't feel as overwhelming because they have a lot, but they really do play with everything. They really do. Like this Peppa Pig house we've had since James was a year old. It was a hand-me-down from my sister, and they love it. They still play with it all the time. The Bluey house they got for Christmas, and they play with it all the time. It plays like the Bluey theme song, and Jacob absolutely loves it. It's his favorite. And the backpacks they actually fill with toys and carry around and pretend they're going to school on the school bus. They play with so much everything, and it was really just me needing to organize better with what needed to be put away, hung up. The Nerf guns I don't particularly like when Jacob plays with them. Just because he's still learning how to be gentle. He's still learning that he can't use them to hit people. And he is very much a boy. He is very much in it to hurt people. He is very rough, and he more often than not hits his brother with things. So I prefer for him to not use these things. So I have opted to bring them up to James's room where James can play with them when he wants, but he doesn't have to fear for his safety with his little brother around. And the same with his Legos. I plan on getting a basket for the Nerf guns so they can kind of sit nicely and he can still access everything, and put his Nerf bullets in a bag so he can grab them when he wants them, but he has space to reign over his things without feeling that he needs to put himself in harm's way by sharing with his brother, because he's a great brother and he does share with his little brother, which I love. but I don't love when he gets hit with these hard objects. So I was very willing to relocate them for him.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of the stone on my own. But you came around and removed the thorn in my soul. You guided me out of the storm. I found home in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold, in your arms of gold. It's funny how easily a life can be torn apart. Why couldn't I simply see that I was sick at heart and I am in deep debt? The climb we did was unreal. You made me so speechless. I just can't believe it. You broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was my own enemy, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones.
I made it through the drawers, and it took a lot of time to get through all those toys. This part did not take me as long. It took me maybe 15 to 20 minutes to get through this. I ended up putting back together Jacob's Cocomelon track that he loves to use because he had broken it apart and I couldn't figure out how to put it back together and couldn't be bothered. So I just kind of left it like that. But I put that back together for him and then kind of organized these. I was able to get rid of one of these buckets that was full of toys because I organized everything. I put the Bluey house out on display for them to play with because they do play with it often. And I really only kept one bucket because Jacob had some Duplo Legos in there that he liked to play with. And I tried to keep those accessible for him, but for the most part, it got pretty cleaned up in front of the TV. It was obviously not completely empty like I would like to see it, but you know, they'll outgrow these toys eventually, and eventually I'll have a living room back. But it was nice to have not the overwhelming amount of toys that is usually there.
With pins and patches, we carry on. I rise from the ashes. I heal from your passion. My doubts are gone.
Finally, I am reaching the end of organizing the toys. I just have the other corner where the Legos are. There were stuffies in there. I had the sit and spin that I actually brought downstairs into my entryway to put under the stairs. And then all these balls in the ball basket, the boys take them out and then just throw them in the corner again. They never put them back in the basket. So I tidied that up and then put the pillows in another basket I have there, which I'm honestly thinking about just getting rid of altogether because we don't even use these pillows anymore. I just keep them like just in case I decide to put them back on the couch, which is probably not a good reason to keep them. So I might get rid of them. I don't know. And then this is all the stuff that's going upstairs that we are getting rid of and that needs to be hung up. So I am just going up and down the millions of stairs in my house to put these things where they are going to be. I did just put the things that were going in James's room in his room. I still need to put them away and hang them up and organize them, but they are no longer in my living room, which was the goal. So you move things from one place to another and still have something to do, as it always is, right? It never ends. There's always something to do. But it felt like a new place just before I even got into vacuuming and shampooing the carpet. It felt so different. It felt so bright and clean and airy. And it's just because it wasn't as cluttered. And I love that feeling.
It's easy to speak out about the way I live, but it's a 24-karat dream. No supermodel in my dirty jeans, but in my 24 inches heels. I'm not pretending I'm born like this, a game for the reckless. It's so extreme and I don't really care. I don't really care, yeah. No, I don't really care. I don't really care, yeah. They're calling me a mad woman, mad woman, mad woman. Calling me a mad woman, mad woman. No, I don't really care. I don't really care, yeah. 'Cause boy, it's none of your business if I'm a mad woman.
So full disclaimer, 90% of the Legos in this cabinet were broken. They were not put together. There were 1,000,005 little pieces that need to be reconstructed on Legos. So if you would like to see it, let me know and I will make sure to include that process in my video next week for you. I do enjoy building Legos. It's almost therapeutic for me to be able to do them, and I enjoy seeing the end result of them being all put together. I know. And I have all the instructions. I kept all the booklets, even the boxes, which I can probably get rid of. And I plan on bringing those all up and reconstructing all the broken Legos that we have here. And now that James is a little older, he knows that once they're put together, he shouldn't be taking them apart, but it is okay to play with them. So it was a learning curve for him. He did have some things that were taken apart that I had put back in storage because he needed to wait to be a little bit more responsible, because it was very hard to put together, and for him to break it apart was it was tough. It just showed he wasn't at an age to be able to play with Legos that complex. So I might bring them back up for him, but I might wait a little longer, maybe when he's 5, which is only a couple months away, but kids change dramatically within a couple months. But we'll see. So I brought them all upstairs. I placed them on the floor in his room that need to get organized. And then I went I went to vacuum the living room, and then I shampooed the carpet.
You got me feeling kinda crazy. You got me feeling like my head is spinning round. The way you look is so amazing, amazing. I could stare into your eyes for hours and hours. Everything is kinda hazy. We're just dancing in the dark in the flashing lights. I know you can't hear what I'm saying, so I'm just gonna hold you closer. You take me higher when we're together. It feels like you set my whole world on fire. I know I want you, I know I need you here. You're everything I want tonight. You know you make me feel so alive. I wanna stay with
After I was done shampooing the rug, the last thing I did in my living room was I cleaned the windows, and I do need to do like a deep clean where I move my furniture and clean the walls and inside outside of the windows. I didn't do it this day because I have to wait until my kids are either out or their dad is home to be able to distract them, because while it's doable with James around, Jacob kind of likes to be next to me all the time, which is not really great to be cleaning the windows with him awake. So just even doing the toys earlier in the video, I had to do when he was napping, and he woke up before I was done. So it was interesting doing it with him awake. But the rugs were, it was pretty gross. They were pretty dirty. I try and do it at least once a month. I will admit it's been probably 3 months since I've done it, but it was very nice to see the stains gone from my rug, and the food that was stuck on there is no longer there anymore, which was very nice. So I gave the windows a quick wipe down, and this window specifically, I cleaned the windowsill because it's accessible to the boys, so I made sure that I put it there and cleaned it so they would not access it and get their hands all dirty. So this is the end result of my living room. I am super happy with how organized everything came out and how cleaned it is, and I will most likely have to do it again. But thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.